So thank you for joining us today. I know, like our clients, you guys have choices which sessions you join today, and so happy to have you with us today. Wanted to start off by saying that my experience in Bigcommerce was a little bit different. All of my career I've spent in marketing and sales and product management. But when I started with Bigcommerce, I actually joined as the VP of Client Experience. So by the time I stepped in the CMO role, I had already been looking at things like, what does an ideal client look like? What are some of our revenue opportunities, retention opportunities? What are some of our churn challenges? And I now recommend to all my marketing friends that they spend as much time early on and often with their client success and services teams, because absolutely your client success and services teams really have their pulse on the finger of your organization, your client base, and you can learn a lot. It's easy when you're focused on driving business and driving leads to forget that. So it was hugely important to me as a successful entry into Bigcommerce, and something that is near and dear to me now. I actually manage both the marketing teams and the client success teams. So Bigcommerce. What is Bigcommerce? We help people sell things online. And one of our business challenges is we have a very diverse customer base. Anyone from the housewife who wants to augment her family income, to SMBs who are successful brick and mortar merchants, to really large retailers like Samsung and Cetaphil and Gibson Guitar who want to take their e-commerce efforts to the next level. And it is because we have such a diverse customer base that it is really challenging to understand what each population needs to be successful. Let's also be honest, e-commerce is rapidly evolving sector, and merchants have choices. And it is incredibly important for our business that we are focused on understanding what it takes to make a client successful so that we can keep them, because absolutely happy clients by far are the best marketing asset. So Bigcommerce, we'd enjoyed rapid growth, but just beneath the surface we had some inklings that things were not everything we wanted them to be in terms of revenue retention and our churn. And again, one of our first learnings was we shouldn't be citing a churn number or a big macro retention number. We should be looking at retention and churn by our client populations. So we knew we had some work to do. So like many of you, we had invested in some of the best systems out there. But I don't know if this has been your experience, not all these systems worked well together. In fact, sales and marketing owned HubSpot and Salesforce. For a while there, Totango didn't even have an owner, and it could have been sitting on the shelf for the next champion to come along. One of the quick things that we did was really common sense. We assigned an owner to every application. We created a cross-functional team, because at this stage in our company, we didn't have a centralized IT or CTO doing this for us. And as a team, we said, this is the way we want these systems to work together. This is the client experience that we currently have, and this is the client experience that we want to have. And we started having regular meetings to kind of iterate. And as we got smarter about how these systems worked together, or didn't work together as the case was, then we started changing and iterating. So there was a lot of repetition, a lot of learning on the fly. But again, you can invest in the best systems out there, but if they don't work together, you're not getting nearly the value out of them. We also started getting smarter about how our clients wanted to learn. And when you have 55,000 clients, you have to find a way to scale high quality, low touch, at the client's preferred channel and at the client's preferred time. So we tried a variety of things. And there were some things that early on they got great results, like live webinars. But when you think about it, people that are selling online, they're busy during the day. It doesn't matter if you have a noon or a midday afternoon live webinar. They can't always stop their business to go and watch your webinar. So we actually replaced the live webinars with our on-demand webinars. Our social media, we monitor our social media both from a support standpoint. A lot of our clients, that's where they go to support. That's where they go to submit support tickets. So we monitor social media from a marketing perspective, which is what I've been typically used to, and we also monitor from a support perspective, which is something that I wasn't used to. We have a very active forum. We do a lot of email marketing, both from here's a series of onboarding emails to help you get up and running and successful. And then as we can see in our product, and as we can see in Totango that you're actually getting some traction with your online store, we'll make suggestions. Here's a better way to merchandise. Here's a better way to drive traffic to your website. So we had some early wins, but we weren't quite driving the dramatic retention gains that we wanted to. We weren't quite addressing the root cause, and we needed to do some research. We needed to start asking ourselves the really tough question, where are we acquiring the right clients? I don't know on the customer success side if you've ever wondered, why are we acquiring some of these clients? Is it just that we have a big number to drive and we're sales focused and sales driven? Is this the right thing for the organization? Those are all really legitimate questions to be asking. And they were tough questions for us. So we did some research. Our CEO had championed initially starting a Net Promoter initiative last year. We hadn't done that before. And it was hugely insightful in terms of product satisfaction issues, client onboarding opportunities to improve, soft skills training that we could provide our people, improving the expectation setting that our salespeople were setting in the first place. So lots of great insights. And as we started going through the data, patterns emerged about these are the best clients that we should be acquiring. And these are some clients that are going to be challenged. It's going to be challenging for us to make them successful. Hard to have an online store be successful if you don't have any products. Then knowing that, we need to take you through a completely different path. If you are a very sophisticated merchant already and we send you an onboarding email, clearly we're showing we don't know much about you, and that's a bad thing. So we started getting much smarter about segmenting our clients and giving them the right information at the right time as they move through our product. Then as the marketing person, I needed to take a look at where I was spending and the lead sources. So all these great clients that we could help be successful, what lead sources were generating those great clients? And how much and where was I spending? I was generating the clients that were harder to make successful. And ideally, you'd spend more here and you'd maybe revisit what you're spending over here where you were generating those clients that were struggling. So we decided to change some of our spend patterns. And this really created a lot of anxiety in the company, and it was a pretty tough time to go through. Up until that point, our paid search had been our dominant channel for demand generation, and we were turning off keywords, being very strategic, but we were changing our mix and where we were spending. And our trial volume dropped. And trials are the lifeblood of our sales team. And we were wondering, gee, are our sales going to go down? I went through some very uncomfortable board meetings, some very uncomfortable exec meetings, and on more than one occasion I'm thinking, it's time to spruce up that LinkedIn profile. It was very uncomfortable. But I will tell anybody that organizational change is tough. And you have got to wait it through. And luckily, we did have a board team and an exec team that wanted to see this through. We were monitoring our metrics daily and weekly. And the first 30 days, things started looking up. By 90 days, when we would typically see retention and churn patterns emerge, things were looking much better. So we had a trial volume like in the 19,000s. And we changed our spend to where we needed a trial volume of 10,000 to generate the same amount of sales. That meant that the business could redeploy tons of marketing dollar, either into better marketing or better sales, or building a better product, or developing a better client experience. So it was hugely impactful to our business. And over time, our retention actually edged up. And it's because we were acquiring better clients in the first place. And I mean better from the standpoint, better for us right now, better in the sense that we could help them be successful. So some lessons learned. You absolutely needed an executive sponsor. And for us, that was our CEO who championed our first Net Promoter efforts and really drove it as a cross-company initiative. Be prepared for surprises. We had built a very, very successful business, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on paid search. And to question that was to question a fundamental belief in the way we had gone to market for years. It will get worse before it will get better. This I know to be true. And it is very uncomfortable to be sitting in that seat. But I would say stay strong, that wait for the data. Make sure that you wait for that data because it will take time and it will vary for each of your business models. Integration is tough, but if you've invested in some of the great systems that are out there, you've got to get the value out of the systems by get them working together and really understand what each system does well and use it for that. And then once you really know what it takes to make your clients successful, at least in our business, which is very high volume, we have to have automation to drive it, to make client success affordable and scalable. And then start as soon as possible. In one of the sessions earlier today, one of the speakers said he would recommend that every company make their first critical hire after engineering hires be client success. And I will tell you, absolutely, the gut instinct of our client success teams was absolutely right on in terms of the right customers that we should have been acquiring in the first place. The challenge for Bigcommerce was to make that data collection scalable, to understand what we needed to do to drive change, and then successfully drive organizational change. So I'm going to turn things over to Cynthia Belusic, and then at the end we'll have time for some questions and then get you on to your next session. Thank you.